Hi, you guys. I hope you guys are having a great day. Um, it's good to be back. Look. Welcome again to Can't Clip My Wings slash Vito One's Clothing here on Talk Shop Live. I am myself. I know, I think our last was I think it was, I think, I don't know. I'm kind of set, got my candles going, just trying to get myself together. I see one of my Facebook pages is not kicking in. That's Arzanda Brands, which is actually the umbrella under everything else that goes on here comes up under either UCN or ourselves on Arzanda Brands. Arzanda Brands is actually my bath and body company umbrella for satin patterns by design, which is also on our Facebook page. If you see satin patterns by design, is one of our. Let me say that again. Let me iterate that. That's what you get when you have a lot of stuff. Um, satin patterns is actually the big umbrella for anything that I do, clothing, anything that I do with hair and makeup, cosmetics, all of that falls up under that. That's like UCN, which is Universal Collective Network. It is my network for my radios and podcasts that I have. We got some good news coming in December. I'm happy about that. Um, I want to also we're gonna hit on a lot of stuff tonight. Because very good. Bear with me, okay? Um, Getting back to the look, you guys. You would not believe what's happening right now. Okay, I gotta turn on my fan. I gotta turn on because look, I got hot all of a sudden. And it's like really not a lot of light going on here, but obviously it is. One second here. I gotta get me lotion. I'm not I've been messing with things. I have been in the process of my storage. Remember I told you guys about um, I was telling you guys about minimizing stuff, getting rid of things that you do. Well, that's that's what I've been doing. Well, I had to clean out one of my storage rooms because I'm understanding that in later years, I don't need all that stuff. Famously, I don't need all that stuff. So I was cleaning out storage rooms for the last week. I think we've been doing it for the last 3 days. So we finished it up today. So I wanted to make sure we didn't interfere. I said, "Honey, we gotta go back to stuff because I didn't want it to interfere with tonight at 6. Like I'm sure we got everything taken care of. So that was like awesome. Awesome. I feel so much better for you guys. You have no idea. Okay, stuff I gotta go. Okay, stuff I gotta go through. So like, and it's kind of cool today too. So it was funny for me because I'm like, oh, thank God. At least all that stuff I can take my time and go through stuff and throw things out. Because I said I have one son. I don't have a lot of kids. So if it happened to me or my husband, my son is still by himself. So he's not going to be able to. I'm not going to say he's not going to be able to. He's going to have to get help. So we're trying to minimize everything possible so that he won't have a lot. He's going to have a house, the cars. He's going to have enough already, right? So I'm going to add my children. So if I get rid of the majority of the stuff now, I won't have to worry about it. and just in case you have to move, right? So I don't want to have all that extra stuff in. So that's what I've been trying to keep my situation. But I hope you guys had a happy Thanksgiving. I didn't want to talk a lot about me. Okay, when it comes I think our last show was great. We're going to talk about everything we've basically gone over since I started Talk Shop Live. But I want to say, I just kind of want to go over some things that we talked about so far, and I hope everything that we've talked about has actually helped you guys to move forward in whatever endeavors you remember. Okay, there we go. I just wanted to play a little bit of that. But yeah, so I'm hoping everything that we've learned on here, of all the things that you've taken from what I've talked about on here, that you guys have actually been able to use some of it. I hope the journal prompts are helping you guys. I really do. So I want to go ahead and get started. I've rambled enough about all the mess that I'm in. Um, you guys, let me tell you, I do have to tell you this. I think I can share this with you. So, the holidays was here, Thanksgiving and stuff, and I literally forgot to do one of my shows. I literally forgot to do it, and it didn't come to me until today. Do you see how long ago that was? That show was supposed to be done this week, right? But it didn't get done because I forgot it. Literally forgot it. But hopefully that don't happen. If you hear a lot of talking in the background, um, my husband's on the phone. I don't know if he knows how loud he's talking, but he's talking loud, right? Um, hopefully, and I think he knows I'm doing my show. So let's go ahead and get started with Talk Shop Live, talking about all the things we've talked about. Man, we've talked about some stuff on here. I've given you guys literally almost half of my life story. I have more because there's always a story now. And look, let me tell y'all something. When I'm telling you stuff, this is not stuff I'm making up. I just want to let you guys know these are not stories I'm making up. This is actual stuff that actually happened to me in my life, right? Because I'm not about faking to glorify myself or to. These are actual events that literally happened in my mind. I don't know if you guys know how old I am. Okay, I'm not no spring chicken. All right, I've been on this earth a long time. If I tell you my son is 42 years old, let me say that again. My son is 42 years old. Okay, um, I'm old. Okay, I got some age on me. So please do not think that the stories I'm coming to you guys about, especially when it comes to me, they're made up. They're not made up. They're very much so true stories. Um, I was just talking to one of the young ladies that I was a friend of mine when I was living in Tennessee. And I told her, I said, we got to catch up. She's like, yeah, we do. So she was laughing because she knows some of the stuff that I've dealt with. So she's like my witness because she was like right there. Hey, Miss Hall, how you doing, sweetie? She was right there. So when I thought of it, I said, Tina, we gotta catch up because it's been a while, right? It's been, oh Lord, it's been some years since me and her talked. But she's a Facebook page, Facebook friend of mine, which is like we every now and then we'll say something to each other on Facebook, but we haven't had a real rock down talk because I think she gonna like Salita. Oh my God, I am shaking my head because I know you, because she already told me. She's the one who told me when my husband asked me, he asked me 3 times. I turned him down twice when he asked me to marry him. So she was the very first person I called to tell her that my husband asked me to marry him. And the first thing came out of her mouth, see, this is what you call real true friends. She says, who's going to marry your mean tail? That's the first thing, and not no congratulations, nothing like that. That's the first thing came out of her mouth. I was like, dog, Tina, that's messed up. She said, yeah, I'm just being honest. Who's going to marry a mean tail? And look, several years later, 20 years later, 20 something years later, I'm still mean and all, I guess. But anyway, but it has been a ride. Oh man, it has been a ride. But I just thought about that when I thought about her, kind of reaching back and talking to people that were very impactful in my life, very much so. Coming out from my past, people who know me personally. I don't have to make up my stories; they're real. Okay, because they've been through my adventures with me. Some of them. And you gotta laugh. Even when they were bad times, you guys, you gotta laugh. You gotta laugh because in everything that you have happened to you in your past, um, not everything, but certain things that have happened to you in your past that have impacted you. Um, you might back then thought it was very, very serious, very heart wrenching. It did something to you. But when you go back and look at where you were, okay, where you were and where you're at now, it's a whole different ball game. And that's what you're looking forward to. The ascending, going up, going leveling up, being that next person that you know you can be. And that's the great part about what I try to do with you guys is to encourage you to be the best you can be. Don't have to fake, you don't have to put on no airs for nobody. Just be yourself. And when I say be yourself, some people have some people have certain personalities, and I'm not telling them not to be themselves on that. But sometimes our personalities can use some overhauls. Okay, I'm not saying go around with a smile on your face 24/7. Don't. I am not going to sit here and say that. What I'm saying is, be comfortable in yourself. Okay, no matter what you're doing, be comfortable in it. If it makes you happy, that's what makes you happy. It's not about trying to please everybody else. It's about you. And I think majority of the conversations we've had on here, we've talked about um, we talked about the ideal of being yourself, taking care of yourself, being there for yourself. When everybody else, seem to want to abandon you, you find ways of taking care of yourself without them. Okay. I know everybody has a belief system. I'm not going to sit here and push no religion on anybody, no belief system on it, but I know everybody has one. If that belief system works for you, you guys, then move with it. If it don't, find somewhere else. And do not be afraid to change your belief system. Everything is a revolving thing. Everything is evolving, not revolving. Let me say that again. Everything is evolving. So you prepare yourself to have to evolve when it comes to your belief system. If you want to change how you believe in stuff, situations that happen in your life, you have a right to that. You're not you're not forced to believe because I believe something. You're not forced to believe that. And it's not my place to convince you to believe that. I'm saying have a belief system. The belief system could be you. You could believe in yourself, right? Because we've been taught to believe in everything else around us, and you know that, okay? We've been taught to believe everything else but ourselves because we don't believe in ourselves. Lots of times things happen to us um, because of that, because we don't put ourselves first. When you put yourself first and put your belief in everything and have confidence in yourself, things are not going to work out for you. But you have to do that. That's what you have to do for yourself. I was telling my husband today, I was saying, I read him something. I saw a post and it said something about we go all over the place looking for God when God is really right here. How can you say you're a daughter of God, because we're not sons, daughters of God, right? And God is within you, then why aren't you a God? Why are we looking outside of who we are? Why aren't we that God? But we're told now, oh, you can't call yourself a God. You can't, oh, you're worshiping yourself. But that doesn't even sound right, does it? I mean, it's confusing. And that's what religion does. Religion confuses you. But again, everybody has their own belief system. I am not telling anybody how to believe. I'm just saying sometimes religion can be very confusing if you don't truly understand you, because it comes from you. So if you don't understand you, everything around you, excuse me, is going to be like What? Okay, I'm confused. I don't know how to do this. I don't know what to believe in. I got all these people telling me to believe this. No, you believe in you first and foremost. You have to have confidence in yourself to move forward in anything you do. So have a great belief system, if nothing else. And if it works for you, it works for you. Okay? That is the greatest part of doing this is when you have a system that works for you, work it. Okay. As a coach, I am not here to say, okay, don't believe that, don't believe that, don't believe. No, I'm allowing you to be yourself. Whatever you decide that you want to be it. Okay. That works better, and it makes it more easier for us to it leaves out all the complications and the complexity of a conversation or communication you're having when we're talking about trying to improve yourself. So if you have a level of who you are and you're satisfied with that, but you want to be a better person, then that's what you work on. Okay. And if that belief system is in play for you to do that, then you do that. Because you know what? I had a question, and the reason why this is very important to everything else we talk about. I use the word ritual, and if you guys know, I use it a lot, right? I was talking to a friend of mine, and I mentioned it, and they were very confused of when I used the word ritual. They were very confused with that. So I had to explain to them what it means. A ritual is just something you do over and over again. It's a habit. So when you put it in that context, people think, oh, wait a minute, you get ready to do some type of seance or something, right? But and then you can't get mad at them because lots of times people connect that with doing those kind of things. Oh my God, she's going to do a spell on somebody. It's a religious actually action, actually. But that's not what this is. When I say ritual, I'm talking about something that you have, like we use the word regimen. Regimen is another word, right? Something that you do all the time. We say skincare regimen. Oh, this is part of my skincare regimen. Well, I can say this is part of my skincare ritual. It's the same thing. And sometimes because you don't understand the context of words or the word how the word is coming out, lots of times people get, scared, think I'm gonna pull out a witch hat and put a brew of conjuring in front of me and be stirring it, right? Oh my God, she's doing a ritual. Or I'm gonna have a room full of candles. Okay. No, a ritual just means a habit, something that you do. A ritual is you get up every morning, brush your teeth, wash your face, take a shower, get dressed. What do you do after you do that? You get in your car to go to work, right? That's a ritual because it's something you do out of habit. And it's a conventional thing that you found that you have to do every day. In order to bring the money in, you have to get up and go to work. So going to work is a ritual. At work, for instance, what is your ritual at work? When you get in, you go to your desk, you turn on your computer. That is a ritual, something you do every time you go to work, right? You look at all your emails. I mean, I'm just putting this out here like this. You look at all your emails, you answer all your emails, right? If you have to. Maybe talk to your boss, maybe grab a cup of coffee if you didn't bring none with you. And you sit down at your desk and you start doing all the things that you need to do, right? That's a ritual. Okay. Obviously, it's you can say it's a habit. Oh, I get up every day and I do the same thing every day. It's a habit. It's a habit. Yeah, it's a ritual. So that's all it is. When you use that word, people seem to want to, back up off of you. Now, I've already been called a witch before, which I don't understand why I got called a witch, but somebody did think that I was a witch. Maybe I am. I don't know. But I thought it was funny. But that's when I use that word ritual. And if you see, I use it all the time. The word ritual and legacy are two words I use all the time because it's part of my whole um what I want to say my belief system, but I also want to say it's what we're talking about. Your legacy is what you're leaving behind, what you can reclaim, what is who you are. Your legacy, what are you leaving here? When you're gone, what are you leaving here? Okay? What part of you is going to be left behind? You understand what I'm saying? Like when I For instance, my mom passed away. So what was her legacy? Her legacy was her activism that she left me with, saying whatever she needs to say, don't care what she says it. That was my mom. I took those habits from her, right? um and the funniness I have, sometimes I'm not funny to everybody, but I'm funny to myself, okay? And sometimes to my husband, sometimes to my kid. But I'm funny. I get that from my mom. My mom was a jokester. My mom was, she'd find the craziest stuff to say, and you can't help but laugh. So those are legacies, okay? Having, wanting to care for people. A legacy is part of my legacy, is to do that because she taught me how to do that. I didn't know how to, I mean, I wouldn't have known how to do all that, what I've known now. She taught me how to sew. What did I do with the sewing that she taught me? I made money off of it. Those are legacies she left with us. She took time out and taught us those things. So that's when I say legacy. When I say ritual, I'm talking about habits that we have. Okay. Another word, and matter of fact, tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock, we will be doing our webinar, which I'm excited about. And it's called Legacy Activation Ritual, which means activating your legacy, using it. Everything that you've learned, you're using it. You're going to activate it come 2026, right? Everything that you've learned that you know you can use wherever you go, and to make your mark, this is what you're going to do. These are the things you're going to do. And that's what you have to do for yourself. That's what you're leaving behind. Okay. And that's how you look at it. Ritual is something I'm going to be doing all the time. It's an ongoing thing. I've made it part of me. By making it part of me, it's my ritual. Getting on here, my dates are going to change in December. So I'll be coming on here Monday, Saturday, and I think it's, oh, I forgot the days now. Let me look and see what my days are, because I've switched the days up. They actually added a day on. So for December, we're going to be coming on now. We'll be coming on here uh, Mondays, Saturdays, and Wednesdays. So we're going to be doing Mondays, Saturdays, and Wednesdays for the month of December. Okay. Um, So that's going to be my ritual for December, right? The ritual that I was doing for November was, remember, Wednesdays and Sundays. That's why we're here today. That was a ritual, which is a habit I was coming um, on those certain days at that particular time. Remember, our Wednesdays is called midweek motivation. Our Sundays are called reset Sundays. Reset Sundays, right? Soulful Reset. Okay. So now that I've done this ritual, it's over. Tonight is the last night for this ritual. So then I start my new ritual December the 1st, which my first day that I'll be coming back on here is going to, well, it can't be Monday because I'm going to, no, I'm sorry. Yeah. So Monday night we'll definitely be doing the webinar. So we won't be coming over here on Monday night. We'll be actually doing the webinar. So that would start my first day of my ritual, Monday, and then Saturday I'll come back on the 6th of December, which is a Saturday. So these are my rituals that I'm going to go by, okay, for the month of December. January, my times might change, my days might change, right? So these are rituals. So I'm constantly doing this thing because then now it's a habit. So that's what we have to understand. So when people use that word, don't always think that they're going to pull out some bats and a broom, or a big witch hat and, black and, the whole night. No, a ritual is not that. And actually, when you go to church, okay, when you take the communion, Holy Communion, that's a ritual, whether you know that or not. That is considered a ritual, right? So when you use that word, don't be scared to use that word because they use it already. We just use it from a different standpoint, okay? We use it because it's out of habit. What is it? The third Sunday of the month that you do the Holy Communion? You do the communion. Is it the third Sunday of the month? So if you do that every third Sunday, what is that? That's considered a ritual. So sometimes we got to be very careful when we, you know, try to make people feel bad about something they do. You got to be careful with that because you got to look at what you do. What do you do that's a habit for me, right? What happens when you do something over and over again? And that's very, very important, right? That you understand that. So that's why the word ritual comes up. That's why the word legacy comes up in the things that we do here. Um, and it's exciting, but yet and still, I just want that clear understanding to come out. So whenever you hear us use that on this show or any show that I do, that's pertaining to my wrap dresses, because my wrap dresses are called a legacy edition wrap dresses, right? Oh, you guys, my nose is itching like crazy. I don't know who's talking about me, but my nose is itching like crazy. Oh, I know what that is. But like I said, those are the words that you'll hear me use. Empowerment is another word that I use. Empowerment is part of what I do. I'm an empowerment coach. That means I'm here to empower you. All the things, the tools, the resources you have. Sometimes you have all those things, you guys, and you don't even know how to use them. I mean, I have tools and resources that I don't know how to use. So there has to be someone to either teach me how to use them or I need to learn on my own, right? But I'm saying that those are the things that you have to do sometimes when you're trying to better yourself. Everything I do on this show and all shows that I do is a learning lesson for me. Whether I fail at it or whether I succeed at it, all of it is learning. I learn how to do things better. I learned how to the things that I've been defeated in. Okay, that's all right. I was defeated in there, but guess what? I'm great over here. I can do this over here. You can do that over there. You might not can do this over here, but just watch what you can do over there. You can do a lot over there. I'm just using these examples of stuff. So whenever things don't work out in your favor all the time, it's all right. It's not the end of the world. Okay? It's not the end of the world. It's who you are and you're growing for you. It's you. If we could get out, if we could allow other people, if we can stop letting other people hang in our heads rent free and we concentrate on us, you'd be surprised how powerful you are. You are powerful. You're powerful. And you don't even realize that you are. Now, you might not be powerful in the context of what everybody else thinks, but if you look at it in your own right, you're powerful. Everything about you. And sometimes that's the reason why you can create enemies, not because of something you've done, because sometimes people can read your energy and realize how powerful you really are, and you become a threat to them. You become a serious threat to them. And when you become that threat, they you allow and then they let you know you become a threat because lots of times they're not going to hide. They're going to actually let you know in some kind of shape, form, or fashion. They're going to let you know you are a threat to them. Once you catch on your discernment, if your discernment and your antennas on, you're going to catch in certain things that they say, right? You're going to catch that okay, I see, I'm a threat to this person. And you know what? I'm not saying play off of that, but I'm saying pay attention. They'll use certain type of wordings that make you say, okay, I'm listening. Oh, I hear what you're saying. Okay, I got what you're saying. And then you start playing your role from there, not to fake anything, but you play your role in their atmosphere that way because you've already picked out and you've seen how they are with what they are doing, not only with their words but their actions, and you start playing from there. Deal with them accordingly, because sometimes it's not easy. Now we can say, Okay, I'm gonna stop dealing with this person altogether, like drop them, like I would do. I'm just saying. Well, I know necessarily that's not how you do it, and everybody's not me. Okay, you might have to do it real subtle, right? You might have to do it real subtle on when it's time for you to move on, right? Do it that way. Because at the end of the day, you're trying to find peace within yourself. Because we're always in this perpetual self doubting, right? Doubting our abilities, doubting who we are, doubting our emotions, we're doubting everything. So when you're like that, the best thing for you to do is to take your time. Everything is not done overnight. Okay, you guys? Everything is not done overnight. So take your time building the person you want to be. Okay? And believe it or not, if you pay attention to yourself enough, you'll realize that there is a fire burning down inside you. Okay? There's a fire burning down inside you. And it's it's been burning for a long time. You haven't paid attention to it. You haven't been keeping it. You just allow it to sit there. Well, guess what? Come 2026, you need to let that fire, stoke that fire. You just let it sit there. There's things you want to do. You're just letting it sit there. Well, I don't know if I want to do it this way. If I quit doing that, just do it. Don't be afraid to do it. It's you. I don't know how, I guess because it took me a long time to understand me, to stop doubting me. So when I stop doubting me, it's easy for me to say something. Matter of fact, me and Miss Dixon was talking, right? And I don't know if I mentioned this last Sunday or not, but I was talking about being able to market myself. Okay. This is part of what I do, market myself. I'm not marketing myself to people that, that's not going to benefit from what I'm saying. I'm saying market myself, period. Market everything that I do. My products, my books, everything, my clothes, whatever I do, market. Why do I can market and campaign for everybody else. Why is it such a hard thing that I can do for myself? And she was encouraging me and she said, you can do it. But I get frustrated because I'm trying to figure out why things are slow, why things ain't moving as fast as I want. So I'm thinking back to, I said, maybe it's me, maybe I got to look at how I'm doing things. But then in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, be authentic. You don't need to be anybody else. You just need to be yourself eventually. And I guess because my husband says I move faster than I need to in my mind. And he's like, you act like you have to be in a hurry to do everything. And that's the problem. That's the main problem. I like to rush things. I need it. Microwave. And I say that about other people, but look, I'm talking about it with me. That microwave mentality. I got to have it now. It's got to happen right now. It's got to happen. When in reality, that's not how it works. It's called divine timing. If you don't understand divine timing, you're going to be forever on this cycle, right? You're on that hamster wheel going over and over again and not getting anything done. Not getting anything done, right? You're not moving anything because this is the cycle. You haven't gotten off that cycle. You haven't found a way to say, you know what? Slow your tail down and get into focus on this, and allow it to move itself. Allow it to let divine timing come in. And then, two, also ask for patience. Ask for patience. Ask from your belief system patience. If I can't do anything else, give me patience. You have to do that sometimes. Sometimes you have to do that. It's all right to do that. It's all right to go back to the drawing board. That's another thing. We don't think we're supposed to go back to the drawing board for anything. I got it. It's all done. I got it. I know what I'm doing. Walking around. I know. And you're falling on your face every time you take a step. No, go back to the drawing board. Go back to the beginning of things. When you reflect, a lot of the reflection comes from you going back and seeing where you came from to where you at now. Okay, with everything you do. How do I do this? How do I remove this out the way? How do I, okay, then I need to move this over here, make this over here happen. Okay. And sometimes, you guys, you have to do this alone. And that's another thing. We always want to take people with us all the time. Sometimes you can't take people with you. Sometimes that's a battle, or that's a situation between you and you. Yeah, let me say that again. Sometimes the battle or the situation is between you and you. And that's where the shadow work comes in at. That's where the mirror work, because there's nobody else in the room with you. So you have to battle yourself, right? You have to come to a conclusion of what you see in you, not what nobody else sees, but what you see in you. Okay. If I say to you, sometimes, you know what? I have a judgmental spirit. I sometimes have a tendency to judge people. If I was not in tune to myself, I wouldn't be able to say that. I would not be able to say that to you out loud. There's no way I would say that. Okay. I wouldn't be able to do that. I would not be bold enough to say this out loud. I'm sometimes judgmental, right? But because I know that's part of who I am, and it's something I have to work on, right? I can say that. And I can say it fully because that's something I realize I am. Sometimes I act like I know it all. Would I be able to say that if I didn't realize that in myself? No, hell no. But I realize that in myself. So, I have to say, yeah, sometimes I do act like I know it all. So when you can relate to those things about you, and you can say it out loud. Now, if I was doing mirror work right now, those are the things I would say. If I was doing some shadow work right now, those are the things I say. Because I have to know me. Sometimes I'm hypocritical. Sometimes I'm contradicting. Would I be able to say that if I didn't recognize that in myself? How do I know that? Because I see it in myself. I see it from some of the things I say, some of the way that I react to situations and people. I can say that and boldly say it. Not something I'm proud of, but I can boldly say it. You got to have that boldness in it to say it so you can say, okay, I got to fix this. I got to fix this. I got to work on fixing this. It's not going to happen overnight because guess what? I've been this way for a while. This wasn't something that popped out of nowhere. I've been this way. So I know it's going to take me some time to work on it. I'm not going to tell you, please be patient with me. God is not through with me yet. I'm not going to tell you no crap like that. Okay? Because to me, that's a cop out. But if I say to you, I'm going to work on this, I'm going to work on it. And I'm going to get better at it. And you're going to see that I've gotten better at it. And keep in mind, for me, and some of you guys have seen me on other platforms, I'm very controversial. I say what's on my mind. Sometimes I can get out of hand. I'm not always diplomatic. I'm not all this soft and demure person that I am on here because I'm in different roles that I have to be in order for me to, this is my teaching mode. This is my coaching and teaching mode. I'm here. When I do other things, it's not necessarily always me teaching and coaching, right? So there's different layers of me, and it's all right if it's different layers of you. You don't have to be the same person all the time. I don't know who told you guys that you have to be the same person over and over again. To me, that's boring. That's boring. I conversation wise, I love different types of conversations. So you have to be able to connect and communicate with me on different levels, not just one dimensional level. You have to be able to talk to me on many, many levels because I love talking about everything. And that doesn't necessarily mean you have to relate to that for me. For me, I'm just saying me. But when you want to get out of this box that you've put your, because sometimes y'all, we talk about people putting us in boxes. Sometimes we be opening up the door or we be lifting the lid and we push our own self in these boxes. I'm not a box person at all. You can't put a box on me because I'll come. Who says that? I'll come out on the. Oh, is it Betty Wright? I'll come out the bag on you because I'll come out any. I like being unpredictable. I don't want anybody to predict anything about me. Other than me, I run my mouth. That's it. But I want to be able. I want people to be able to. I can talk to this group over here. I can talk. They could be talking about airplanes. In the military, guess what I did in the military? I refueled aircrafts. So certain aircrafts we can talk about over here because that's something I've done, right? I can talk about real estate. You know why? Because I assisted and I was in real estate at one time. So I can talk about real estate. I can talk about being an author to authors or around authors. And we can talk about character building. We can talk about all that because I've done that. That's being a well-rounded person. I can talk about cooking. I'm not the greatest cook on earth, but I know a little bit about cooking because I'm married to one. My husband loves cooking. He knows how to cook better than I do. But I can talk about what the things that he taught me. You see what I'm saying? And stuff my mom taught me. I can talk about sewing forever because guess what? My mom taught me how to sew. And you know I can talk about wigs because I used to make them and I used to do videos on wigs and I know how they work and all that, right? I can talk about those things. So that makes me a well-rounded a well-rounded person. Okay. I know about camping. Okay, yeah. Because in the military, we had to camp outside. I know how to do that kind of stuff. So I keep myself, and even if I don't, and if it's something I want to learn, I'm going to go ahead and research and find out about it. And then I can have that conversation with anybody who wants to talk about that. Because I keep my brain never rests, okay? So I'm always thinking and talking about stuff all the time. So there's not too many, unless it's something I'm not interested in, I can't have a conversation about. I just can't because it's not something I'm interested in. And it's not something I'm going to, I don't want to waste my time learning something that doesn't interest me. And that's what I'm saying you can be. You don't have to be this little person they put you in a box. I get up every day, I go to work, I come home, I feed the kids, I feed the dog, I feed the husband. I get up, I go to bed, I put the kids up. You want to have, and you might even have some girlfriends, right, that you talk to. You know, maybe you need to go outside your girlfriends, find other people that you can interact with, you know. Seems like if I'm out and about, if I'm going shopping, somebody always wants to start a conversation with me. And I know it's a lot of us that have that type of energy, whether you know that or not. Your aura attracts people to have conversations with you. Do you get that when that ever happens to you? When you go to a store and you're shopping and stuff, and maybe you and somebody is standing at the same item, and you guys just drum conversation and you're talking out of nowhere, right? That happens. People, other people pays attention to you, and they can sometimes sense things in you that you don't even realize you have. Or you ever been somewhere where usually it's nobody there, but soon as you walk in a store, it's like people come out of nowhere. You ever been there and then all of a sudden you're looking around and it's not only you, it's like 20 other people in the store that wasn't in there before. Y'all got to understand your energy is magic. Your energy is so magic. We get so caught up on the outside and we don't even realize what we're exuding from the inside. Because everything in the inside is what comes out, right? So if you got a lot of good stuff going on inside you, guess what? It's going to show in your smile. You're going to show in your conversation, how you handle yourself, the actions you take. It's going to, and people are paying attention to that. Okay. And some people want to talk to you, even people that I would never think that I would be having conversations with. I have conversations with them. Like, and then I was like, wow, that was weird. Why would, and you think to yourself, why would that person have that conversation with me? It's your aura. We're, these are just shells, okay? This right here, these are just shells. You're just walking energy. And everything vibrates. Everything vibrates. High and low frequencies. All the time. All the time. So things that are around you, they're either going to be magnetically attracted to you or they're going to get away from you. And you got to understand that. I can tell whether or not I'm going to have a conversation with some people, not all, just by our interaction. And I don't always look for the negative in people because you don't have to. Sometimes you can be innocently walking and not even catching on, and people come over to you and want to talk. I try to always, it depends on who the person is, I'll say to hi to people that normally I probably won't say hi to, but something in me told me to say hi to that person. That's me paying attention to what's going on inside me. Ask them a question. Say this to them. See what they'll do. Make them laugh. I've done that. Make somebody smile. Out the blue. That's your magic. That's your essence. And to me, that is the most beautiful thing about us as we walk around in these bodies, is the core of who we are. This world right now is in chaos, but that doesn't necessarily mean that has to be you. Yes. Hey, Miss Powell. Yes. Yes. You don't, even though we got all this craziness around us, does not mean we have to carry that craziness in us. Remember, when you're in a box, people can dump things in, right? When you're in that box, they can open up the lid and dump things in, right? Well, when you're not in a box, they can't do that, right? They can't dump anything on you. And you have to have your mind in that space too, where, okay, this is not working. I don't want to have this conversation. I don't want to be around these people. If I have to be around these people, I'm going to act accordingly. I'm going to do what I have to do while I'm in their presence, but I am not going to interact with them. You don't have to. Because a lot of, when we talk about our jobs, right? We talk about our jobs. We're around a lot of energy, some of it is, sometimes you're around more negative energy than you are positive energy. So you have to figure out what's best for me. Do I flow with the negative energy or do I remove myself from it? Sometimes you can't remove yourself at that very moment, right? So what do you do? What do you do when you're in a atmosphere of a lot of negativity? You go within and you think in your mind, you know what, even though all this negative stuff is going around me, I'm going to think positive. I'm going to look at the good things that are going on. I'm going to be grateful for this is happening and this over here is happening and I can help this person over here. Go to the places where positivity is going to rise up out of you, not out of them, but out of you. Smile, not a fake smile. Make that smile come from within until you get out of that aura of negative energy. Okay? Because negative energy transfers. Oh wow, it transfers. You ever been in a situation where you la da 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 and your day is going great? And after a while you be around a person, maybe I'll give it about 15, 20 minutes. And they're talking to you. Their conversation is talking to you all the time. Times it's so hard to shake the heaviness that's on me there. Yes, sweetie, I do. I understand that. I truly understand that. Sometimes you have to walk out, okay? Walk away from it. Think of something good. Think of something that you're grateful for, and then come back in. I know, baby. I know, right? Yeah. Um, and all of a sudden you wondering why you got an attitude. Like, wait a minute, where did this negative attitude come from? I didn't have that at first. Where the hell? And me, I'm gonna tell you what happens to me. I start feeling guilty. I literally start feeling guilty whenever I've stepped out of that area where I had all that negative, right? I'm around all that negative, and I start acting like the person that I'm around, right? I feel guilty. That's my conviction that that's not who I am. I don't know if any of you guys feel that way, but that's what happens to me. I start feeling guilty. But I'm an empath. So an empath is a person who can feel a lot of things. So I have to constantly battle that. Because I was like, man, did I say that? Mm, I shouldn't have said that. Now I'm feeling bad. And sometimes I would ask my friends, I would call my friends and tell them the situation I was in. And I was like, I felt bad saying that. Or I felt bad doing that. That's me convicting myself because that is not me. You understand what I'm saying? That that's when you know you're in tune to yourself. Is when you feel that what I'm describing. Not mean that you're going to be feeling the same way I feel, but I feel whenever I say something out of my realm of talking to people, especially when I'm around negative people, and I start acting like that person who's negative, that's constantly negative, and I start saying things and talking and doing things that they do, because it's easy to do. You believe it or not, it does. It's easy to do. I start feeling guilty because I know that's not me. I wouldn't be able to do that if I wasn't in tune to me. And this is something that doesn't gradually just drop out of the sky and you feel that way. It takes time because you have to get familiar with you. You have to be familiar with you. When you're not familiar with yourself, it's so hard. You're doing things that you subconsciously think is all right to do, but in reality, it's not who you are. But because you don't realize that because you're not in tune with yourself, you think it's a normal thing to do. But I know that's not who I am. The first thing comes up is the guilt. I feel guilty, like, I shouldn't have said that. That was really mean. And I shouldn't have went along with them because they were saying some real terrible things about that person. And I shouldn't have agreed with that. It's easy to do. It is very easy to do. You get comfortable and you forget. You forget or not even that you forget, you've gotten comfortable in relaxing. And it's not about trying to associate yourself, assimilate with people like that, because that's not the normal people that you hang around, right? Or that's not the normal people that you interact with. Just so happen you guys are in the same place, you hear them talking about somebody and yeah, I know. Oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, they do that. Or you're going on and you're agreeing with what they're saying about a certain person or a certain situation. I get guilty. I feel guilt. because I know that's not me. That's not who I want to be. Let me say it to you like that. That's not who I want to be. Yes. Yeah. And if we always check ourselves, constantly check our, it is hard as hell. I am saying hell. I cuss worse than that, really, you guys. I cuss like a sailor, like they say. But it's hard as hell to constantly be on yourself. It's not beating yourself up, it's convicting yourself and saying, hold up, chastising yourself. We chastise everybody else, right? Why don't we chastise ourselves? Why do we think we're exempt from being chastised? Why do we feel like we're exempt? We can say some, we get smart with people, we go off on people. Why don't you go off on yourself sometimes and check yourself? It's called checking yourself. That's not who I want to be. That's not how I want to interact with people. You got to say that. You got to say that out loud. You got to say it to yourself. And watch just little by little by little how things start to change when you pay attention to yourself. When you're working on yourself, because it's working on yourself. Get to the point where, yeah. You guys, you know what? I'm going to go get me some coffee. You guys have a great day, and you walk away from all that negativity. Okay. And sometimes you can catch yourself before you say it. You might be thinking it, but it hadn't come out yet. So while it's in your mind to think, you can say to yourself subconsciously, should I say that? Should I enjoy in them being bitter towards somebody? Should I be one of the mean girls? Think about that. We spend so much time worried about what's going on the outside. We need to be looking inside and saying, hey, wait a minute, that's not me. I can't do that. Hey, you guys, have a nice day. It was nice hanging out with you guys. Check you later. Walk away from them. I've sat in I've sat in circles or with people, and like I said, for me, it bothered me when I talked about somebody. I check myself. Some think can be too hard on myself. That, yes, sweetie, good point, great point. She basically said I check myself. Some think I can be too hard on myself. Sometimes we can be hard on ourselves sometimes, but you have to understand what do you consider being hard on yourself. There are a lot of spirits in the hospital because of the heaviness falls on me sometimes when no one is even talking, because you have a special gift. That's why it falls on you. And it's all right to talk to them. Now, wait a minute. Let me, Miss Powell, y'all probably don't know who I'm talking to, but this is Miss Powell. Me and Miss Powell are deep, okay, y'all? We deep. We go back some time. And me and Miss Powell have had these conversations before. She's correct. If you've ever worked in a hospital and you want to test if you have any type of gifts, work in a hospital and pay attention to yourself. You're going to hear things and you're going to see things and you're going to feel things. And if they're heavy on you, you already know where your position is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're a work in progress. There's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with that. Just be mindful of yourself. Don't always, you have to determine what's hard on you, because it's your burden, it's your situation. So you have to determine, what do I think is hard on me? What does it mean for me to be hard on myself or beat myself up? I told you, for me, I feel guilty if I've said something about somebody because I'm standing around other people and they're saying it. I feel guilty. That guilt comes up for me. I don't feel that that's hard on me. That's me being convicted that I shouldn't be around that person or persons, and I shouldn't have said what I said. That's my conviction to me. And so the next time I'm in a crowd or I'm around those people, I know not to say those things. or I know to walk away from them. Because sometimes, again, energy transfers. Negative energy, positive energy is going to transfer. Either way it goes. And sometimes we don't realize we're doing things that other people are doing too. That's another thing. If you're not paying attention to yourself, you don't pay attention to the ideal that you're doing the same thing somebody else is doing. Let me tell you something. And I don't know if you guys heard it, if you have a mom and dad, or if you're a husband and wife. Do you do some of the habits your husband or your wife does? Because I know I do. I find myself acting sometimes just like my husband. I find some of the words he used, I say them. Why is that? Because guess what? Because we're together all the time when you're together, and that energy is connected. So automatically, you're going to start reacting to things like them, you know, and you're going to say things like, that's my, and I'll say it to myself out loud. Lord have mercy, I sound like Henry. That's what I'll say to myself, because I know that's an example of me being in the presence of him all the time and picking up on his energy and being around his energy all the time. And it's not always something negative. It's just certain things that he'll say, catchphrases he'll use, or certain ways he'll say things that's funny to me, but I know I get that from him. Do you, y'all get that, right? Even like with your, okay, just like even with your brother and sister, even with your moms and your dads. So why do you think you don't pick up on strangers' energies when you're around them? Yes, that's right. That's right. Trust yourself more. You're right. I don't like being mean to folks. That's and it's all right not to be. You don't have to be. You have to sometimes people mm, sometimes you just got to bite your tongue with some people, right? Sometimes you got to bite your tongue with some people. And then sometimes if people if people are trying to bully you, sometimes you got to speak up for yourself. I'm not saying be nice and kind and pull out your wings all the time, right? And carry flowers around and throw them into people you want to be nice to. No, I'm saying sometimes people need to hear it, because you know what? I have said things to people like, you know what? I didn't even know that. I didn't know that I was acting that way. Matter of fact, I'll tell you a perfect example. Um, I don't know if you guys know I'm on TikTok sometimes, and I go into different chats and panels. I be on different panels, right? So this young man was being disrespectful to the host, just like you just can't be disrespectful to the host, right? And he was being disrespectful to her. She's a mother, and she was taking time out, and she invited you up on her panel, right? And I mentioned this to him, and I said to him, wait a minute. She invited you. That's a common courtesy for her to invite you on her panel, and you're sitting here being disrespectful to her. You know what he did? He said, you're right. I apologize. Sometimes you have to check people. It's all right to check people. Okay? It's just the way you do it. You can't just go off, be mean to them. Sometimes you just have to talk to them in a way that they're not used to being talked to. That's another thing. Some people are not used to being talked to very nicely. Even though you're chastising them, they're not used to you saying to it very nicely. They're not used to that at all. And then they don't know how to react, and then they'll pull back. You know what, man? Maybe I shouldn't have said it to her like that. Because I actually, was that necessary? The way you just said that, was that necessary? Tell me how you feel when you said that. Were you mad? And what caused the madness? What makes what that person said make you so mad? And tell me how it affects you personally. Because lots of times, a lot of stuff don't even affect us. They don't have anything personally to do with us, right? But if we're already in a tizzy, right? We're already upset and in a tizzy, we're gonna, right? There's a lot going on with us personally. That's why you always have to check in on yourself. Check in. How am I feeling today? What is going on that's causing me to have this? I had a flat tire. I almost ran out of gas. My stockings are ruined. I broke the heel on my shoe, right? right? Think about it, right? I left my wallet at home. Me and my boyfriend or girlfriend got in an argument, right? I just got put out. I can't pay my rent. All these things interact with us on a daily basis. And then you're trying to get to work and you're trying to do this and you got a boss at you micromanaging you. And then before you know it, and you're not even doing it to the right person. You're directing it to the wrong person. You got an innocent person being hurt, their feelings hurt because you took that out on them. That's why you have to sometimes take time out, step back. When you're in those modes, and I know it's easy, oh, you're telling me all this and it sounds good, but it ain't how it is. Believe it or not, if you're really in tune to yourself, yes, it is. It's exactly what I say it is. If you're in tune to yourself and you know you're about to go there, guarantee you can stop yourself. Walk away. Walk away. Go to the bathroom if you're at work. Sit in the stall. Go outside and sit on the bench. Calm yourself down. Start talking to yourself, bringing yourself back to who you truly are. Don't tell me it cannot be done. I'm telling you, I know it can be done. I know it. I 100% vouch for techniques of calming us down before we take it there. Before you go from 0 to 100. I have friends who literally have to take medicine because that's what they do, right? And I'm able to sometimes talk to them and get them to understand, first of all, why are you feeling this way? What triggered you? What took you there? And then I ask them, are you taking your medication? Did you take it properly today? And I know that sounds like, oh gosh, why you got, because sometimes that's what the medicine is for, is to regulate that 0 to 100. Because I don't want to either see that person in the hospital. I don't want to see them in the grave. I do not like going to funerals. I don't like funerals because everybody's on the edge right now. And people don't want to be patient. Some people just naturally don't like being patient. Some people are naturally negative. They wake up in the morning negative. They complain about everything. They go to bed at night negative. And they get up every day negative. They are not thankful for nothing. I run from those people because those are type people you cannot help. You cannot give them any type of suggestions, no type of advice, no type of nothing. You have to let those people be. Because before you know it, if you're around those type of people all the time and they're not listening when you're trying to tell them to, not saying you're trying to push them to be or force them, but try to tell them, maybe you need to do this, maybe you need to try that. When you can't do that with them, you need to run from that person. Because before you know it, you'll be acting just like them. And you don't even know you're doing it. That's how energy works. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Take your time if you're around that person, because sometimes we're married to those people, right? We have children we've raised like that, right? They're your children. You love them, your husband, your wife, you love them. But you have to find yourself in that. Because if you do not, just like I told you, for example, how me and my husband interact and how I act like him and how I use it, that can be the same thing in a negative way. Going off on people all the time, right? For nothing. If you hear somebody arguing with somebody, instead of you saying calm down, you in the middle of the argument. Why? I wouldn't let them talk to me like that. I wouldn't let do this. Well, but why? What is the purpose of you being part of all that craziness? What are you getting out of it? When that's not really you. That's not who you are. And when you're When you're a person who complains and have a chip on your shoulder all the time, let me tell y'all something. I know that's a burden. Just talking about it right now, it's like my shoulders are like starting to like go this, just like this. I do not understand how you can be so unhappy all the time. Y'all ever meet them kind of people that no matter what you say to them, they'll find something negative? Oh my God, the sun is shining, it's beautiful. Well, in a few minutes, some clouds gonna come over it, and then it's gonna start raining. Then we can't stay out here anymore. And they go on and on. It's like, oh my God, did you really turn something so nice into something so crazy? Yeah. There's people who thrive off of that. That's how they feed themselves. Oh man, to me that's heavy. Just talking about it is heavy to me. I do not want to I do not want to walk around this world with all of that on me. And you shouldn't either. That's why you have to be careful with the people that you have around you. We don't all have the perfect friends. Everybody don't have that. Some people gravitate to you for different reasons, right? Right? And some people feed off of the positivity that you have. Or, you know what, I like to hear you talk like that. Somebody will say to you, I like to hear you talk like that. Can you talk more like that? And sometimes you're helping people, and then other times people people just like to suck you dry with your and I know that sounds crazy, but they want to suck all that good energy out of you. They're not doing anything with the energy. Now, please don't get it twisted. They're not doing anything with that energy. They just want to suck it out of you. Did I just get a door? Oh, they want to suck it out of you no matter what. You know what I'm saying? My door just opened and my dog just came in. What is he doing? I'm sorry. Okay, okay, okay. Um, so yeah, so um, do you want to stay in here? I'm sorry, y'all. That's my dog. He he's been acting funny all weekend. He got in a fight with the dog down the road, and he's been acting funny ever since. Um, but yeah, so you find yourself, you're like, oh my God, do I want to be around this person? You've got to pick the right people in your life, and it's all right if you can't. You know, understand what I'm saying? It's all right if you cannot find those people. It's all right to be by yourself sometime too, because sometimes we don't want to do that. We don't want to be by ourselves. Oh my God, I got to have an audience. I got to have somebody, showering me with all these good things. Sometimes, you know what? You got to shower your own self. You know what my mom used to always say to me? She said, "You came in this world by yourself, right? You know when you get in that casket, ain't nobody coming with you, right? You know that, right?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah, you do know that, right? So if you can do things alone, do them alone. Do them alone." And loneliness is, I'm not saying for you to walk around this whole world being, by yourself because you're so afraid a lot of negative energy is coming and you're not going to be able to control it. No, I'm saying sometimes that alone time is the time when you start checking yourself. That's the time you start checking yourself. It's all right to be alone. Okay. Hold up. Yeah, hold up. Okay. You see how I get interrupted? Oh, they got us. Anyway, so it's all right. I'm not saying like put a big old shield around yourself because you can't do that, right? You can't walk around with a shield on yourself to stay away from negative people. No, you can't do that because you're going to meet them all over the place. But if you have control over yourself, your attitude, how you feel about yourself, nobody can come in and mess that up, right? But most of the time, when negative energy comes at you, is when they know it's when it feels that you're vulnerable. When you're at your lowest point, that's when negative energy comes in, or kind of finds itself gravitating towards you, right? That's when it comes in. People are too much throughout the week. Yeah, they are. Yeah, it would be nice if we could just go in the little box, I mean, in this little shell and stay, but you can't. You got to deal with people all the time. And in the position, in the job that she's in, she has to constantly deal with people. I know, Miss Powell, and y'all, it's whew, and these people are different now. Okay, you're dealing with a whole different species of people now. They are so different. So you have to prep yourself. You have to prep yourself before you leave your home in the morning. Say to yourself, say an affirmation in the morning, okay? Before you leave out the door, look at yourself in the mirror and say, this is going to be a damn good day. That's what you say. Every morning you get up. I'm grateful I'm here. This is going to be a damn good day. Or this is going to be a productive day. And go your day and make everything, once you speak it out there, it's done. And even the places in your day that you think is not productive is actually productive. And then you sit back when you come home, you relax, kids are done, husband's done, and you just sit back and it's your time. Kind of do a little checklist of how your day went. And then just kind of keep, that's why we do journals. That's why journaling is so important. Write down how your day went. And then you're like, okay, I got that project done. Ooh, Sarah didn't come over and talk to me and make me feel any kind of way. She didn't come over and gossip, and I didn't want to hear nothing she had to say. That was good. That was good. The meeting went well. My presentation went well. I messed up on a couple of things because I forgot a couple of things, but overall it was good. Those are the things that you do a checklist on. The dress I wore today, I'm glad I picked that dress. I'm glad I went to the beauty salon and got my hair done. My nails are done. I look great. I did a great job today. And just do that for yourself every day. Write down how your day went. Because sometimes with me, this is what I do. Like if for instance, I have my checkers. Like I'll call my son, I'll call my girlfriends, and I'll ask them, I'll tell them a situation, I'll tell them a scenario, and I ask them, what is your opinion on what should I've done differently? And one thing about your true friends, they're not going to hold nothing back. They're going to tell you the truth, right? About you because they know you. Well, maybe you shouldn't have said that to them. And I'll be like, yeah, I kind of felt that I shouldn't have said that, but I did. And I feel bad about it. That's why I was calling to ask you. I felt kind of bad that I said that to them. You got to have that. You got to have friends like that. Not friends that agree with you. Oh, yeah, you should have cussed them out. No, I don't want my friends to be that way. I want my friends to tell me, don't always agree with me. Okay? I want them to say, no, that ain't how you do it, Salita. That ain't even you. What happened? How was you feeling today? Why'd you say that? Because that's not you. That's what I want my friends to tell me. Because that gives me the time to say, yeah, I checked myself. And yeah, I shouldn't have said that to him or to her. Nah, I shouldn't have done that. Because I'm telling you, I convict myself. And Miss Dixon says maybe Miss Dixon kind of relates that to being hard on herself. That might be her way of relating, but that's a wake-up call for you. That's for you to say, okay, I'm not going to do that again. Next time I'll handle that situation differently. Maybe I'll take a deep breath and be quiet for a minute before I say something. Because sometimes, let me tell you something. Lots of times when you be quiet, oh, that helps out a lot. When somebody says something smart to me, instead of me responding, I get quiet. I get quiet. Oh, so you're not going to answer me? Not at this moment. Because I know I will be being very negative if I answer that person at that very moment. Not at this moment. We'll talk later. But most of the time, I'm not going to come back and talk to you because I know if I come back and talk to you, I'll have to be checking myself again. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to, I'm done with the conversation. Sometimes you have to do that. I know that's not in every situation, but sometimes you have to do that. You have to have mechanisms in place so that when you encounter these situations, you can check yourself. Because nobody's responsible for your reaction but you. And when you can get people, when people can get you to react to them in a negative way, they got you. They got you wholeheartedly, point blank, period. They got you. And they're going to continue doing those things one after another. Okay, I know how to trigger her. I know what makes her mad. I know what makes her walk around with a chip on her shoulder. And I'm going to, every opportunity I get, I'm going to do it. I'm going to mess with her. You know, we use the other word, but I'm going to mess with her. And it is a form of, actually, it's a form of abuse. And it's not only is it a form of abuse, it's a bullying tactic that they use. They want to get you out of your bag or out of pocket, in other words. They want to get you out of character by saying and doing certain things. And the best thing to do sometimes is to walk away. I'm not saying to all situations. You can determine what situations you're going to walk away from and what situations you're going to face and say, look, okay, enough. You're going to know that. You're mature, you're grown, we're talking to adults here. So everybody knows, you know what your breaking point is. If you don't know your breaking point, then you still need to work on yourself. You have to know what triggers you. You have to know what takes you there, like they say. And remember, no one's responsible for your response but you. Let me say this again. No one is responsible for your response to anything but you. So if people know how to trigger you, your response is your responsibility. And sometimes our responsibilities comes with what? Consequences. Right? Right? I pay attention to who's being disrespectful and then I stay away from them after that. That's right. Because you already know that that's going to get you to the point where, shoot, they might be wanting to send you to the house. You know, look, you know you need your job, right? You got to work, right? So you're only in control of your response to that person. You can't control them. You can't tell them how they need to think. You can tell them, you can explain to them how they need to treat you as a person, but all that other stuff, you have no. If you walk by and you hear people having a conversation and your name comes up in that conversation, right? And what they're saying is not positive, right? You hear them talking about you. What are you going to do? What can you do? Again, you have no control over their response. You only have control over yours. What they're talking about is not even relevant about you. But if you go and want to go off on everybody, it could be your boss talking about you to other bosses, and you just so happen to walk by her office and heard her, right? What can you do? Should you confront her? Because again, how other people see you is not your responsibility. And it's none of your business how other people see you. How you see yourself is what's important. And if you know that you're not a ragtag person, you know you do your work, you come to work on time, you make sure your work is correct before you turn it in, right? You help other people, you do all the things that you're supposed to do. So what are you upset about somebody saying something negative about you? And I use the work situation because that's mainly where we interact with people on a daily basis for long periods of time when it comes to these type of situations. So what are you upset about? Hmm? Why are you mad? You can't be mad at because that's their opinion of you. That's not who you are. That's not who you are. You're not that person they're talking about with the other bosses because they know your work speaks for itself. They haven't had to call you in for any type of counseling, performance, or anything. You know that yourself. Matter of fact, you help other people. Matter of fact, other supervisors come to you about certain situations because they know you're good at it. So, how they feel about you is not relevant when they're talking. It's not relevant. Do your work, keep showing up, keep shining, and move on. It's how you feel about yourself that's important. Nobody else. How do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as a very courteous, respectful young lady or male, man, whoever's listening? Do you do your work? You come to work looking pleasant. You speak to people when you need to. If you don't. It's all right if you don't speak to everybody. That's not what you have to do. You don't have to speak to every coworker that's in the building. You know what I'm saying? That's not part of the job. You don't get paid to speak. You get paid to work. But if you just so happen want to be nice and want to speak to people, they speak back. If they don't, just don't speak to them again. That's how I do it. I don't chase nobody down for nobody to respond to me speaking to them. They don't never have to speak to me again. It don't bother me because what they think about me is not important. Is what I think about myself. And that's where you got to be. When you get to that level and you're very sure of who you are and you're very happy that God created you, I promise you, you will not feel any of that. You will not feel any of that. And I know we all have self-esteem issues. We have a lot of things that happen in our past that has changed us as people and as persons individually, but it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. And it doesn't mean that you have to stay in that place stuck. Do you understand what I'm saying? You don't have to stay stuck in those places, in those dark places. You don't have to stay stuck there. Move out, go different places. But you got to start from in here. The light has to shine in here. If it doesn't shine within you, how can you expect for it to shine on the outside? It doesn't make any sense. How do you expect for it to shine on the outside when there's nothing shining in the inside? It's dark in there, it's cold in there. You got to fix that. Even when I think about relationships, and I don't talk a lot about relationships because relationships are very complex. It's a complex conversation to have because everybody has a different situation that they're in when it comes to relationships. Some things you'll tolerate that I won't tolerate in relationships. Some things I tolerate in relationships you probably won't tolerate. So the conversation about the subject matter about relationships is kind of hard for me to talk about, to kind of have this down heart deep conversation about, because the way we view love, and it has to go back to love, and I'm talking about relationship between a man and a woman, the way we view love is different. So For anybody to be a guru on relationships, it's amazing because everybody sees love differently, right? So it's a conversation that I kind of don't talk, even when I do my readings. I don't do that. I don't talk too much about it because it is a very complex conversation to have with people. Even if I was an expert in it, I think it would still be sort of complex to talk about because the way people interpret what love is. My interpretation of what I think love is might not be the same as yours. So it's kind of hard to have that kind of conversation because I noticed that a lot of women tolerate a lot of things that there's no way, shape, form, or fashion I would tolerate in relationships. And they've made it a norm. A lot of times, too, with that, because no one has ever taught them what love is, if that person knows what love is, so anything might look like love. Really, really. Anything might look like love. And I wish, no, this, I'm going to fall back and take away my personal opinion about that. That's why I say it's a hard conversation to have for me. Because I told you guys earlier, if you wasn't on earlier, I was telling them earlier about my friend Tina, who from time to time we'll talk on Facebook. I told her I need to call her, right? Well, Tina knows me, all right? So when I told her that my husband asked me 3 times to marry him, and the third time is when I finally said yes. When I told her that, this is what she said to me. Instead of saying, "Wow, congratulations, Salita, you're getting married," she says, "Who's going to marry your mean tail?" So do you understand why love is not a good conversation for me? Because that's the first thing my girl said that to me. Instead of saying, "I'm happy. When are you going to do it? I'm going to come." Nothing like that. She said, "Who's going to marry you? Your mean tail." That's what she said. You know what I'm saying? So that's somebody who knows me, right? And she said that because she knows how I am. So that's why I said love is a fickle thing. And everybody has their own interpretation of love. Now, the last time I had the conversation about it, and I actually talked about it, and I did a podcast on it, I used the book, Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. I used that book to talk about relationships. I don't know if you ever heard that book. I forgot the name. He has a real common name. I can't remember the doctor. Oh, Dr. John Gray. I think that's his name. He's a white guy. He's not a black guy. I think his last name is Gray. But yeah, it's called Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. Okay. So I talked about that book. I broke it down. I literally broke it all the way down and had that conversation. I could do it that way, but just to talk about love, it's not a subject for me when it comes to that type of relationship, the man and woman, because it is very complex. And what I realize is with that, a lot of people's interpretation of love, I don't know, it's just different. So that's a conversation I kind of like, I'll kind of slip away from that one every now and then because it's not, because I got to sometimes talk not with my personal opinion in everything. I can tell you personal experiences, but my opinion and experiences are two different things. So you got two different things going on there. Because that book is the very best at describing male and female. That's right. That's right. It sure is. It is an excellent book um, to talk to kind of understand males and females. He talks about the male having a cave when a male comes home or whatever, and we come at them like, yeah, you done with it for right now, temporarily, right? You're like, I need this, the trash need to be taken out. There. To me, that's not nagging. But to other people, that might be nagging. No, those are things you just didn't do. And I'm just giving you a checklist of things you didn't do. It's not nagging you. How can you think our communication is about nagging? Huh? That's a negative thing. So the way we communicate is me nagging at you? That's negative. Is our relationship supposed to be built off of some nagging, some negative crap? No. I'm just telling you this is the checklist of stuff you did not do today or should have done already. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said there's no such thing as love, just my opinion. Miss Powell, we're going to have that conversation because sometimes I feel the same way. I do sometimes. I think love is overrated. And I think it's a great, let me tell you what I think love is, saying that word. It is the greatest cop out for not either changing, evolving, being a better person, or getting out of this fog you can be in when it comes to love. Yeah, I definitely, definitely see. That's why I said everybody got their own interpretation of love. They do. And I think it's the greatest cop out we ever came up with when it comes to relationships between a man and a woman, or between whoever. Okay, um, um, I just yeah, yeah. But I would, if you guys want to talk about the book, we can talk about the book. I can definitely add it in, and we can go through the book if you want to. I can't remember which podcast I did it on, but I definitely broke down that book. Um, about men are from Mars and women are from Venus. Matter of fact, I have to find it, but I definitely did that. I think I've done it twice so far, talking about that book. Um, but yeah, and lots of times, lots of things in relationships you learn as you grow together. Because one thing I've learned, I can say this from being in a relationship with someone, there was no way, shape, form, or fashion I ever thought that I would be with somebody over 20 years. That was never in my plan. But it's not easy being with someone that long and realizing the growth that came with it. It's a lot of growing. We're quick, and I'm trying not to say this without offending anybody. Um, when it does come to relationships and long term relationships, what I realize is if I'm not growing in that relationship, then I don't need to be in it. And if the person I'm with is not growing in that relationship, we don't need to be in it together. Maybe that they need to be with someone else to grow with. Maybe I'm not the person they need to be with to grow with. And maybe from him, I'm not the person he needs to be with to grow with. And sometimes we want to overlook that. And sometimes we rush out of relationships because we haven't matured enough to deal with what a relationship really is. We have women, I'm talking about women, and in the book, if I'm not mistaken, women have this overgrown, outgrown. Let me say this, women, not all women. Let me correct myself. Not all women have this overgrown fantasy of what a relationship is. Some women have this overgrown fantasy of what love is. I had to learn that. I had to check myself in my relationship because of how I saw what I thought a relationship was supposed to be. Take what I just said, listen to and pay attention to your relationship. We have this fantasy about what a relationship is. So we live on this fantasy and we force this fantasy in our relationship when it doesn't belong there, right? So when you're forcing this fantasy of love and it's not hitting back and it's not coming off of nothing and it's not bouncing back and it's not growing up and it's not moving out and it's not doing the things that your fantasy of love is, you get discouraged, you get angry, you get mad, and like, I'm going on where da 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 da. But lots of times it's because of us. We have this overgrown princess Cinderella mentality about love. The prince on the white horse is coming to save us. And that's all we want. I'm tired. I've heard women say, I'm tired of working. I'm tired of this. I want to be taken care of. I can't relate to that. I'm sorry. I'm the type of woman I can't relate to all that. Not to say I'm not no independent woman, but I've never thought about love like that. I'm tired of working. I'm tired of this. I want somebody to do it all for me. I've never had that interpretation of what love is. But we do. We have that. And it's a fantasy for a lot of us. And instead of us realizing that, and instead of us kind of reshaping how we see love, we keep moving with that narrative from one relationship to another, to another, to another. And you know the song by Erykah Badu, which is one of my favorite all-time songs, beside Wildflower, which is my all-time mantra, by New Birth. Erykah Badu, Bad Lady, is the perfect, perfect example of what I'm talking about. We don't even love ourselves, but we're expecting this long list of love things to happen in a relationship. We're very insecure. We don't want him looking at nobody. You don't want her looking at nobody. You don't want her doing this. You don't want her smiling. You don't want her saying hi. You don't, all this. He don't want this. She don't want this. All this long list of all this and all you're showing is your low self-esteem and your insecurities. That's what you're showing. And after a while, the partner gets tired of carrying your burden, because that's what you're doing. You're laying it on them as a burden. And you're expecting them to be this big giant that's going to save you. And you're not even doing anything to save yourself. You don't even love yourself. That's, to me, where I think we think about love in a different way. You can't even correct yourself, but you want to correct somebody else. You can't even look at yourself and say, I messed up. You can't even say that. But you're always pointing at all their flaws and shortcomings. Do you understand? Love is not, that's not, well, maybe your interpretation of love could be that, but that's not my interpretation of love. I first of all got to love me. Do you know how long it takes to really take time out to love yourself and be assured of yourself before you bring somebody in and say, I love you. I love you. You mean the world to me, when you don't even mean the world to yourself. You do that. And this is the reason why a lot of relationships don't last and they don't work. They're broken because you got broken people trying to live a fantasy that doesn't work. That doesn't work. And independent it will always be, because I will not deal with drama for years anymore. All relationships end the same. Miss Powell, I want to agree with you, but I can't. And a lot of times, because what I just said, when you don't love yourself and you don't know how to love yourself, how in the world are you able to love anybody else when you never learned how to love yourself? So how are you going to say you want this out of him and you want this out of her and you when you don't even know what you want out of yourself? That's the issue. That's why people just say, you know what, I'm not even going to fight. I'm just not going to be in love with nobody. Because you haven't worked on yourself. Sometimes you got to work on yourself first. You got to work on yourself. That person is carrying not only their baggage, they're carrying yours too. Because you're constantly throwing things at it all the time. You're putting all this burden on this one person. He needs to make me happy. She needs to make me happy. Where is that written in stone? Weren't you happy when you met me? I'm thinking you were happy. My job is to make sure we're both together, enjoying ourselves, having a good time, laughing. Yeah, you got to have an argument or two. That's going to happen. But my job is not to make you happy. You should be already happy. That's your job for yourself. And we go into this. That's why I said this love fantasy stuff. Well, if I can make myself happy, I don't need him. Okay. I'm not going to argue with you because that's your assumption of what I just said. I'm not going to argue with you. But I didn't marry my husband for him to make me happy. Because when I came into marriage, I was already happy. Yeah, that wasn't his job. It's never been his job to make me happy. I just want him to make me happy. No, no. And the thing is, relationships, it's work. It's just like the 9 to 5. It's only 24 hours, 365, 52 days, 52 weeks out of the year. That's what love is, over and over again. When it comes to relationships that you want working, if you want it to work, you have to put work in it. And lots of times people don't. And when you don't love yourself, anybody, anybody will be willing to fall in love with you and you fall in love with them. You don't love yourself. You just don't want to be alone. Anybody will do, right? Anybody will do. We don't pick up on the red flags. We don't pick up on any type of warnings or nothing. We just want to be loved. We might argue. Oh, yeah, we argue and we fight. I ain't be with nobody hitting on me. No, hell no. I'm going to say it now. I'm going to say it just like this. Hell to no. That ain't no love. Somebody hitting on you? That's not. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, that is not a definition of love at all. That's not love. But because you don't love yourself and you've been probably through the relationship, you've been beaten down to where you don't feel good about yourself, you're comfortable. You become comfortable in an uncomfortable situation. And this is why another thing why I have always been, when it comes to Black women having their own business, having a, I don't want to always use the word independence, but being able to rely on themselves, being self-sufficient. Let me use that word instead of independent. I want to say self-sufficient. She can take care of herself. The reason why I push that, and I'm very much so an advocate for that, is because I've heard the stories of women who don't work and they stay at home and they're being abused all the time. They don't know how to do anything. They don't know how to go to the bank. They don't know how to get money out. They don't know how to do, because he's done everything for her. She doesn't go to work. And some women enjoy that. I would never, I don't care how much money he makes, I will never be in a position where I cannot take care of myself. I don't care who it is I'm married to. I'm going to be able to take care of myself. So if there is a need for me to walk away, I'm not going to walk away without having my stuff together. Okay? And this is what happens to a lot of relationships. When it's time for her to walk away, she's scrambling because she's never done anything but be the wife and be in the home and take care of the kids. She doesn't know how to do it. And I've heard, well, he takes care of everything. And some women are proud of that. I'm just not one of them. I don't ever want to be where I have to be solely dependent on somebody. Not like that. No, 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 no. Has nothing to do with manhood or womanhood. It's just how I am. I want to be able to take care of myself. Because if you've ever been in a position where you didn't have anything and you had to scramble, it's a terrible place to be. And if you don't learn from that and you keep doing the same thing, you keep meeting the same men who put you in that same situation, that's not love, sweetie. That's not love. And you would think in 2025, all that kind of stuff would be gone. No, it's still going on. It's still going on. It's still going on with women having men who tell them you don't have to work, you don't have to do that, and she's in love and she's so proud, and before you know it, that table will turn. He gets frustrated about something. Before you know it, he hollering about to you what he paid for, what he do for you, and all that. Mm. To each his own. That ain't my cup of tea. But I was raised by a single mother. And I know people are like, well, everybody didn't know, but my mom taught me to take care of myself, to be able to take care of myself. And any situation I get in, I basically make sure I can take care of myself. And like I said, that's not for everybody. Some people are raised different. And it's not about me trying to be independent and all that. Has nothing to do with it. It's being self-sufficient, because people can be mean to you and put you in a position where you cannot do for yourself. And you never want to do that. That's why I told you I am very much so a big advocate of black women. I don't care who you with. Never be in a position where you can't do for yourself. Never be in that position. Never let anybody put you in that position. I don't care if you're dating them or you married to them. Never be in a position where you can't take care of yourself, where you have no access to anything. Everything comes through him. You don't know how much the mortgage is. You don't know how much your rent is. You don't know how much the car note, the insurance, none of that. You don't know none of that. And there's women out there to this day who are like that. They have no idea. And they'll say in a heartbeat, well, he took care of everything. Now, just like I said, sometimes that is a feature of love. Let me say that again. Sometimes to some people, that's a feature of love. To some people, it's not for me. That's just me. But you have to learn that. You have to learn that from different experiences. You take your experiences. Don't be mad and ashamed of your experiences that you've gone through. Failure happens. You learn from them. The next relationship I get into, I promise you I will have everything I need, just in case. Not to say that you're expecting for the marriage not to last or the relationship not to, but you always need to have your own provisions. You definitely need to have your own provisions. Yeah, in a relationship. Right? So I'm going to get off all those soapboxes because we went from several. I went, you didn't, but I went to several different soapboxes and got on them. Okay, and I'm getting down off of them. I'm going to go ahead. Golly, wow. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Thank you, everybody who came in and listened. Thank you. Oh my God, I am so glad you guys came in and listened to my my little story. Um, my little suggestions, just something for you to think about. Let me say it to you like that. Um, Tomorrow night, if you signed up and you registered for our LAR, which is Legacy Activation Ritual, tomorrow night on webinar, first Monday of every month, we will be coming back. And if you were not able to sign up for this one, Yeah, I got you. If you're not able to sign up for this one next month, I will be doing it again for the month of January. We'll be getting ready for that webinar to come out on the first Monday. Um, each time that you show up on our webinar, if you come in and you listen to the whole thing, you will get an ebook. This is Empowering Women Lives, Stress Free Living, Empowering Women to Thrive in a Chaotic World is one of the ebooks you'll get, or you will get my other one. It's called Empowerment, the Melanated Woman's Playbook for Time Management and Leadership is the other one that I will be giving away. I will be emailing it to you as soon as we finish with the webinar to make sure everybody gets a copy of it. And then when you read it, I want a feedback on it, what you think about it. Okay, that is going to be for all the people who are participating in my webinar tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, not on Talk Shop Live. It's going to be over on my webinar platform. Everybody who's got their email already knows when to, they've already registered. So definitely we'll look forward to that tomorrow night. Um, did we go over everything? Yeah. Oh, also keep in mind, this is the very last day of the sale we have on the wrap dresses. As you can see, she has on one of my wrap dresses, right? And I have on a wrap dress. If you want to order one, you can order one here on Talk Shop Live, or you can go over on You Can't Clip My Wings and go into Shop Ritual, which is our shop page, and they're in there too. Also, some more of my digital books are in there. Several of my digital books are in there. Also, I have coloring books in there. So there's adult coloring books, not little kids, it's adult coloring books. So you have a variety of uh, items that you can look at that will be interesting to you. If you order the dress now, as of today is the last day of the sale, would be they're $59, and they come with an I have a Start Healthy book magazine. Some of you guys are already subscribed to that book. You get it in the mail. I have one of those books to give with you, along with the order of one of the dresses you have. I have more designs coming out. Um, Matter of fact, I think majority of the designs are over here on this page. Also over on You Can't Clip My Wings, they're over there too. So I am going to go ahead and make sure I covered everything. Oh, we need our journal prompts. Whoa, let's get our journal prompts out the way too. If you want a journal, there's also digital downloadable journals over on You Can't Clip My Wings. It's not on this page, but it's over on You Can't Clip My Wings. If you want to order one of those, you can order one of those on there. So let's talk about our journal prompts for tonight. And I'll put them in. I should have put them in there before I got started, but I didn't. And that's all right. So, oh, also, I want to, one more thing I do need to talk to you guys about real quick. So we talked about, we did a whole segment on Ebony Elixir Skincare treatment. I told you this because it's winter. Now it's getting cold here. It finally got cold here. So I told you that it's important that you get a humidifier. Okay, we're talking about taking care of your skin. Um, we talked about doubling up on your moisturizer. Like, when it's hot out, you don't have to have a thick layer of moisturizer. Well, you need to put on a thick layer of moisturizer. My hyaluronic acid moisturizer facial cream, it's watery, it's thin. So I would actually add a cream with that, another facial cream with it that kind of have similar ingredients to make it a little bit thicker, and use it on your face. Um, that's take care of your skin. Um, Also, make sure that you actually use an SPF. I think it's 30 or higher for our skin, even though we don't normally get sunburn. But if you're where there's a lot of sun, definitely use that on your skin along with everything else, your layers of moisturizer. You can do your moisturizers in the morning And in the evening time, when you take off your makeup, I use these wipes when I take off my makeup. I found them at a store called Ollie's. I don't know if you guys heard of Ollie's, but these are glowing vitamin C, because vitamin C and hyaluronic acid together is awesome. So vitamin C facial cleansing wraps, I use these to take off my medicine. My medicine to take off my makeup, and they come in handy, right? They get all that stuff off, and then I'll do my regimen, my ritual, my skincare ritual. That is putting once I take it off with that, I use my cleanser to give, I don't scrub it, but I kind of get it where it lathers up real good, right? I rinse it off, and then I'll use my cream for my night cream at nighttime. Um, Again, a humidifier in your room keeps your skin from drying out. I know that's something, some people probably don't usually do, but a humidifier is very good for that. And I have one in my room right now. Because I don't like dry skin. I don't want my skin to be dry. So I definitely want to make sure it's getting its moisture. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water. Okay. Um, Keep your skin just protect your skin as much as you can. Wear scarves. If you know you're in places like Chicago, Michigan, New York, if that wind is hitting you, make sure you're covering up your face. Keep your face covered up. I know you're like, oh, well, you have to do that in the wintertime anyway. Necessarily, yeah, you do. But I've known people who don't do it, and their skin doesn't get what it needs, right? It's not getting the nutrition. You're not eating right. You're stressed out. The environment is bad. Cover your skin. Cover your face. You can be pretty when you get inside. Put your makeup on when you get inside. When you're in this car, put that hat on, push it down on your head, wrap that scarf around your face. When you get in, look, get in the habit of having a real quick regimen to put a ritual to put your makeup on real quick and look pretty and move on. Get in the office, wherever you work at. Make it real quick and easy. But when you're out in that weather, you need to keep it, because that's what helps with creating wrinkles. When your skin is dry and it's not getting the moisture it's supposed to get, that's where the wrinkles come in at, right? And you're looking older than what you are. I've seen women, I'm 61, right? I'm not ashamed of my age. I'm 61, right? I've seen women in their 40s look older than me. Okay? That's crazy, because they don't take care of their skin. A lot of that is the environment. If you smoke and drink, and let me tell you, I'm not against anybody smoking or drinking. Okay? That's not my business. Okay? But alcohol dries your skin out. Let me say this again. I don't care what nobody say. Alcohol dries your skin out. Okay? And it makes you look older than you're supposed to be. Okay? So if that's what you do, fine, awesome, that's you. But I'm not putting that in my body if I claim that I want to be healthier. I want my skin to be healthy. I'm not going to put that in my body to dry me up from the inside. Okay, out. I'm not going to do that. So I'm just saying, to each his own. I'm not trying to point fingers or be judgmental. I just don't do it because I know what it does to your body. I've had alcoholics in my family, and I don't call nobody alcohol, but I'm just saying I know what it does to the body. I know it ages women quickly. I know it does. Like I just told you, I've seen women who are in their 40s look older than me due to the lot of stressors and the things that they do to deal with the issues that are going on in their lives. So I'm not, I'm just saying I've seen that. That's not for every situation, for some situations. So we have to figure out how we want to maintain our skin. And you're not too old to do it. You can start at any time to make a decision to take care of your skin better. It's all about you wanting to look beautiful inside and out. Because if it's inside, it's going to radiate on the outside. Let me say that again. If it's in the inside, it's going to come out on the outside. Right? And I've always said, you wear your life on your face. So if you live a rough life, it's going to show on your face and in your skin. So add moisture to your to your moisturizer. Add some more moisturizer. Double it up, make it thicker for your moisturizer. Use a humidifier. Make sure the habits that you have, those little habits we have, make sure that they're not affecting the way your skin is. Right. Make sure you're wearing a SPF 30 above. Right. Okay, so that eliminates the wrinkles and being sunburned. Also, look at the environment that you're in. Those are stressors on the skin. You know, we have all these different chemicals in the air. You know, the emissions from cars. I mean, if you live around plants, if you work in a plant, all that kind of stuff, all the smokes and stuff, all of that has chemicals in it. Pay attention to what's the ingredients in your products too that you use, because they could be really defeating the purpose of you taking care of your skin. Make sure you're wrapping up. Keep all that bad wind or that strong, heavy wind off your face. Okay, make sure you're eating well. Okay, I'm not the greatest person to talk about no diets. I don't believe in diets. I believe in eating well, and that don't always happen. I'll be honest. I know what I like, right? Because that also affects your skin. What you eat, pay attention to the vitamins that are in the ingredients of the foods that you eat. If you eat a lot of fast, unprocessed, I'm sorry, processed foods, it's going to show. It's going to show in your skin, right? So pay attention to what you eat. Okay. Um, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Did you send me something to sign up? Yeah, Miss Powell, yes, I did. I sent you. Ooh, Lord. I'll send it again if you didn't get it this time. Okay, I'll send it to you. Oh, you're welcome. Anytime, you guys. Come on back. Come on back. I'm going to try to be here starting Monday. I won't be here Monday because we'll be doing the webinar tomorrow night, but I will be back on a Wednesday. Let's see what my schedule has been changed to us for December. So we'll be having shows on Monday, Saturdays, and Wednesdays. Okay. And I haven't had the times yet. But this Monday I won't be over here because I'm going to be doing the webinar. So I'll be back on Wednesday. No, Saturday. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'll be back that next Saturday on the 6th. Okay. And this month we have I'm excited about something. Guys, I'm never, ever stop doing stuff. Right. So we got a surprise coming in December. I'm excited about that. Just make sure everything works itself out. If it don't, hey, look, I'll do it again because I don't never stop. I try. Look, I don't never stop. Right. So, guys, thank you for hanging out with me, you guys. I want you to have a great rest of this afternoon. And Miss Powell, I'll get you the email again. I think you are on my first list, and I think I sent it to you. But I'll send it again, okay, and get you signed up. But yes, so like I said, tomorrow night is Legacy Activation Ritual that we're doing. That's the first webinar. I'm excited to see. It's actually my first webinar doing it with you guys, but I've done webinars forever before. Y'all, let me tell you something. And I told the other group, I think I told them last Sunday, and I'm going to shut up. I promise you I will. My very first webinar I did, nobody showed up for me. Let me tell you what I did. I did that whole webinar. I did that webinar. It doesn't stop me. Whether anybody show up, I'm going to do my webinar. It's point blank. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Thank you for hanging out with me, and bye-bye. I got to get me some outro music.